The WNBA is finally exploding into the mainstream. But behind the scenes, it's falling apart. At the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the most watched player the league has ever seen. She's breaking records, packing arenas, and drawing millions of new fans. But instead of celebrating her, some in the league are treating her like a problem, like a threat. The jealousy, loud, the silence from league officials, deafening. And the double standards, clear as day. But just when things looked completely upside down, a WNBA legend stepped in and made everyone look foolish. Candace Parker, one of the most respected names in the history of women's basketball, dropped a calm, clear truth bomb that exposed everything wrong with how the league is handling Caitlin Clark. And what she said? It might just be the most important wake-up call the WNBA has ever had. Because if this keeps going, the league could lose everything. Let's break down exactly what's happening and why Candace's words just flipped the entire conversation upside down. You don't have to be a basketball fan to see it. Caitlin Clark is changing the game. Before she even played a regular season minute, she was already pulling numbers that most WNBA teams dream about. A preseason exhibition game, not even for the record books, drew in 1.3 million viewers. Let that sink in. People tuned in to watch a practice game because she was on the floor. Then came the season opener against the Chicago Sky, 2.7 million average viewers, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. And that was just the beginning. Next came a showdown with the New York Liberty, and it peaked at 3.3 million viewers. That's a number usually reserved for NBA playoff games. This isn't just hype, this is history. And she's not just selling TV spots, she's selling everything. Her jerseys? Gone. Sold out. Fever games? Sold out. Prices for tickets? Through the roof. When she plays, arenas are packed. Not half full. Not a good crowd. Packed. But then, she got injured. And just like that, the numbers told a different story. Ticket prices for Fever games plummeted 300%. Seats that were going for hundreds of dollars? Now you could grab them for less than a movie ticket. The hype didn't vanish. It just revealed something the league wasn't ready to admit. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA isn't just quieter, it's invisible. And that's exactly what the league should be terrified of. But instead of recognizing the storm she's brought in, the attention, the money, the fans, the league keeps dodging the truth. The moment Caitlin Clark stepped off the court, the cracks started showing. TV ratings for games without her dropped off fast. The energy? Gone. The headlines? Missing. The same arenas that were overflowing with fans just a week earlier suddenly had empty seats, and nobody wanted to talk about why. But the numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark is projected to generate over $1 billion in revenue for the WNBA this year alone. That's not a boost, that's a lifeline. And here's the wild part. Even with all that obvious value, parts of the league are still treating her like just another rookie. Like she's not the very reason their checks are about to get a whole lot bigger. Take the new media rights deal. Bigger contracts, more TV time, more exposure, all supposedly coming down the pipeline. But let's be honest. If Caitlin Clark hadn't stepped into the league this year, none of those negotiations would be happening at this scale. So when players like Angel Reese talk about getting paid more, and stars like Nafisa Collier claim the league has leverage now, they're not wrong. But here's the part they're ignoring. That leverage exists because of Caitlin. Without her, those numbers vanish. That leverage disappears. And yet, the league keeps acting like this is just a coincidence. Like the rising tide has nothing to do with the boat that's actually pulling it forward. Instead of embracing the truth, they keep tiptoeing around it, pretending that everyone's popularity is equal, spreading credit so thin it becomes meaningless. But the real story is obvious. Caitlin Clark is the engine, and without her, the wheels fall off. You'd think a player driving historic growth would be the league's top priority. Protected, celebrated, defended. But Caitlin Clark, she's been left hanging. Right after her record-breaking debut, the headlines should have been all about her performance, the numbers, the excitement, the future. Instead, the league launched an investigation into her fans over baseless internet rumors. Let that sink in. Instead of highlighting the game, the WNBA's biggest storyline became an alleged hate speech claim with zero verified evidence. One preseason game in, and Caitlin's name was already being dragged into controversy. Not for something she did, but because of narratives floating around Twitter. And the worst part? When she started receiving hate, real hate, the league said nothing. Actual threats were made. Fever players were targeted with violent language. People online were circling their faces with digital bullseyes, saying things like, "It's on site when I see you." These weren't trolls, these were threats. Still, not a single public statement from the WNBA. Not one word of support from the commissioner. Not 1 ounce of protection for the player bringing in millions of fans. The same league that loves to promote messages of inclusion, equality, and no space for hate suddenly went silent. And then it got worse. Fans on social media started accusing Caitlin of using a baby as a prop because she held her assistant coach's child after a game. Think about that. That's the level of desperation and ugliness we've reached. A rookie being attacked for holding a baby. And the league? Again, nothing. No statement, no defense, just silence. Which tells you one thing. They're scared of backlash, but not brave enough to protect their biggest star. At this point, it's not just hate, it's obsession. Caitlin Clark isn't even clapping back. She's not trash-talking, not demanding the spotlight, not putting anyone down. All she's done is show up, play her game, and bring millions of people with her. And still, the backlash keeps growing. People are accusing her of being privileged, overhyped, even calling her success a product of race, as if breaking 62 records, earning first-team All-Star honors, ranking 4th in MVP voting, and dragging a bottom-tier team into the playoffs is just luck? Come on, this isn't just jealousy anymore. It's resentment. Deep, bitter resentment from people who can't stand that she's the one getting the attention. But here's what no one wants to admit. Her spotlight shines on everyone. When Caitlin plays, more people show up. More people discover the other players. New fans get introduced to the entire WNBA. That's not just good for business, it's good for the game. Even legends are calling it out. Lisa Leslie, Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist, one of the greatest to ever play, didn't hold back. She flat out said it. The jealousy around Caitlin is hurting the league. The spotlight is a good thing. The attention is a gift, and the fact that so many can't handle it, that's the real problem. Because the WNBA isn't just growing. It's growing in spite of the noise, not because the league is handling it well. The players who built this league, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Miller, and now Candace Parker, they get it. And finally, one of them stood up and said what needed to be said. When Candace Parker speaks, people listen. She's not just a legend, she's the legend. 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time MVP, 2 Olympic gold medals, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the sharpest minds in the game. So when she joined Stephen A. Smith on First Take to talk about the drama surrounding Caitlin Clark, this wasn't just another interview. This was the moment the old guard finally stepped in and said, enough. Stephen A. didn't tiptoe around it either. He brought the heat, pointing out the obvious jealousy surrounding Caitlin, and he didn't sugarcoat it. He compared her rise to Michael Jordan, a guy who changed the league before he ever won a championship, just because his popularity was that powerful. So when he turned to Candace and asked the question everyone else had been too afraid to say out loud, is the frustration in this league about attention or something deeper? She didn't dodge it. She delivered one of the most thoughtful, grounded, and impactful responses we've heard in this entire conversation. She said she gets asked all the time if she's jealous of Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. A WNBA legend, a woman who helped build this league from the ground up, is being asked if she resents a 22-year-old rookie. That alone shows how deep the insecurity runs. But Candace didn't flinch. She didn't deflect. She leaned in. My job, she said, was to leave the game better than I found it. And she meant it. She explained how Cheryl Miller, a pioneer of women's basketball, never resented her success. Cheryl cheered her on, mentored her, sat courtside and celebrated every moment. And now, Candace's role is to do the same. Support the next star, pass the torch, grow the game. No bitterness, no excuses, no ego. Just pride in the progress and clarity about what really matters. It was the perfect answer. Measured, logical, mature, and powerful enough to shut down the entire jealousy narrative in one clean breath. But she wasn't finished. Candace Parker could have stopped there, and she still would have delivered the most important statement of the season. But instead, she kept going. And what she said next hit even harder. She called out the noise. All of it. The race baiting, the Twitter fingers, the endless stream of fake narratives surrounding Caitlin Clark's rise. Candace didn't yell. She didn't insult anyone. She just told the truth. Let's keep it about basketball. That one line, it said everything. Because right now, it's not about basketball. Not for the loudest voices. It's about culture wars, division, and a league so desperate to spread credit that it's losing sight of who's actually changing the game. Candace said what real fans have felt for months. All this toxic energy, the conspiracy theories, the resentment, the attacks. It's dragging the WNBA down. It's making the league look fractured, insecure, and unwelcoming. She reminded everyone that when Caitlyn's out there lighting it up, she's not just lifting herself, she's lifting everyone. Bigger crowds mean more fans discovering other stars. More TV time means other players get seen. This isn't about one player getting all the attention. It's about using that attention to grow the game. But if the league keeps allowing personal attacks and race-driven narratives to dominate the conversation, the growth stops. The spotlight turns ugly, and the opportunity disappears. Candace isn't defending Caitlyn because she's picking sides. She's defending her because she knows the league can't afford to waste this moment. And whether people want to admit it or not, Caitlin Clark has been nothing but respectful to her teammates, to the legends who came before her, and to the game itself. She's never made it about her. She's never shaded the competition. She's shown humility, grace, and gratitude at every step. Even as the hate piled on, she stayed locked in, never giving it back, never taking the bait. And that's exactly why the league should have her back. Even when Caitlyn's injured, the numbers prove it. Her impact lingers. The Fever's recent game against the Sun drew 851,000 viewers on ION, their biggest audience this season, without Caitlyn on the floor. That's not just loyalty, that's a shift. The Caitlin Clark effect is no longer just about her. It's boosting her team, her teammates, and soon, the entire league. But only if the league lets it grow. This kind of momentum takes time. It spreads, first to the Fever, then to her rivals, then to the next generation. But only if the league protects it and protects her. Conclusion: the WNBA's crossroads. Right now, the WNBA is at a crossroads. It can embrace the momentum Caitlin Clark has created, protect it, nurture it, and build something bigger than ever before. Or it can keep letting ego, jealousy, and silence ruin the biggest opportunity in its history. Candace Parker said it best: leave the game better than you found it. Caitlyn is doing her part. The fans are doing theirs. The question is, will the league do the same? What do you think? Is the WNBA doing enough to support Caitlin Clark? Or are they wasting the biggest opportunity the league has ever had? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.